D-Day. Search what D means and they'll call you that it's just called stands for day. So technically D-Day is called Day. But let's not joke around here. Because today we have an enemy at hand. So let's get started. Let's get started with today's course on D-Day. Not again. Alright, we'll just ignore that. So, hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Dark Sean. Oh well, today I will have Mini-Me coming up in these videos very, very frequently to just say some very, very fun facts. And so, Mini-Me, what do you say? I agree. Alright, let's start it. Alright, this is everything I have to say. D-Day is one of the battles that have turned the tide for the whole of the World War II. And if you guys want me to make a World War II video, sure. However, I need some people to tell me to do that. Or if this video gets at 20 likes, I will make World War II. Why I say 20 is because, well, there's not much to do. There's not much I can else do other than get more than 20. But if this video gets 20 likes, then, well, I will make a World War II video. What is D-Day anyway? Well, D-Day is the battle that was commanded by Eisenhower and other generals, too. There is a whole list of Wikipedia pages, a whole chart in Wikipedia about who the Allies were and who started fighting for the liberation of France against the Nazis. And the British were starting to get worried. Now here's the problem. The British didn't know if the Germans knew about the D-Day locations at all. They obviously knew that invasions would be coming. That was obvious. But what the Nazis didn't know was where the British would attack. And so Britain's main job was to make sure that the Germans were looking the wrong way when the British attacked. Oh yeah, and America and other countries too. There they are. So, what did the British do in particular to this? Well, they made another operation, which they called, Operation Fortitude, so that they could enclose and fake where Operation Neptune, which is the code name for D-Day, would be. And they needed propaganda so that the Germans would buy it and get sure that there was some places that they could attack. They were not entirely sure of where they would be. The Germans did have eyes on possible locations being here. But then the British, on the British side here, they decided that there was a lot of things that they could. Now this would be the most sensible place to attack. But it had two major disadvantages. The first one was, it had a lot of rocky terrain, meaning that when they tried to do it, they would be very inexperienced, even with all the training they did. And number two, it is the most sensible place to attack. So the Germans would think of a possible attack here. And that's how they would get ready and geared up if they tried to attack here. But then, that's what the Nazis, or the Germans, I guess, sought. What the British then decided was that they'd attack along this coast of the line, the beaches. They decided that they'd attack along here, avoiding this place immediately, because there were a lot of defenses there already ready up anyway. But what the British needed to keep doing was that, as Little Me said earlier, the Germans had to look somewhere else while they attacked here, and where they intended that the Germans kept looking was here. But they knew something, that once they attacked here, the Germans would know that the attack was here and that it was not here. And then they would all concentrate all their forces onto these areas. Another warning is the Nazis actually made fortifications along the coastline. But the bolded place is where they fortified the most, meaning that these areas were weak. But how could the British make sure that the Nazis would be looking somewhere else? Hey, little me, could you, take over?
World War II.
Click. Alright, welcome to Military 101. Now, Big Me has already discussed that these areas that he's already pointed out would be the attack places. But what he didn't tell you was how they decided to make sure that the Nazis were looking somewhere else. And which industry was the best to ask for to do all this mysterious and special effects? The film industry, of course. And so the following is what the film industry did. They made inflatable tanks, fake wooden airplanes, fake dummies. Pew! Darn it. But sure enough, there is a lot of things that we can else talk about. Could you remove those guys? Yeah, thank you. And then they started filming all that propaganda. And you know what? The Germans bought it. The propaganda fooled them. It would be right there, they thought. They didn't think that anywhere else would be the invasion. They would just think that it was an invasion. They thought the invasion would come here. Well, how wrong they were. Big Sean, yours. Ooh, I found my hat. Ugh, looks like he has some days. Looks like he had some days. But let's ignore all that and let me tell you about where the Americans, Canadians, British, and all the other people were gonna fight at. There were 5 places they were gonna fight at. Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword. Those were code names for beaches that the US and all the Allies were gonna fight against the Nazis against. But how are all these people gonna fight on those? They were able to distract the Germans, though, thinking that they would be attacking Norway. They will be attacking places through Norway and other places, and the very closest place from the English Channel. Double agents have also made sure that happened too. But they weren't sure if their fakes and propaganda worked. They needed to be sure before they attacked. And then a U-boat was sunk. A boat was sunken, and the German crew, overboarded and swam to shore. But the Allies found the precious treasures inside, an Enigma machine, and how to use it. Alan Turing and his group of codebreakers were able to crack the code with the help of this book. And then, you know what happened then? They found out that they were stunningly successful. And so the invasion would be carried out. On June 4th of 1944, D-Day, everyone was ready. Everyone was sent on the U-boats. But then a stroke of bad luck. Bad weather was ahead. You see, the Allies needed clear weather. They needed clear skies for the planes to fly through. They needed clear waters and shallow waters for that, to be able to see the traps by the Germans, and for the ships to navigate safely without maximizing their vomiting and bodily fluid stuff. And they needed clear weathers so that there was a cloudless night, and that the people, when they landed, there would be a full moon, or at least a sun that would shine all the way and not be blocked by a cloud or such. But then, 2 days later, a meteorologist came and said that on June 6th of 1944, the weather will be like this. For 12 hours. Eisenhower was forced to cancel D-Day. But now they were growing very suspicious. If they wanted success, and now that all their U-boats, all their ships went back into bays that were clearly pointed into the place of where they were going to attack, and 24-hour delay time, the Germans had a lot of time to figure this out. And then, on June 6th, Eisenhower gave the go. And you know what happened? It was stunningly successful. Utah was taking the moment. Omaha was, words, but still was taken. Gold, Juno, and sword were also taken too. And this is the best day of everything. Nah. Lillaby? Bam, 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 bam. Boom, grab, jerk. Oh, well, I'll save him later. So in conclusion, D-Day was a success. And that's all I'm gonna say. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys did enjoy this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Shnan out. Peace. Da 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 da.